Hey, so since I got you, did you see that World Series?
Uh, I'll be honest, nah. Like, I know what happened and everything, and I understand where everything is, but it's just so hard to get behind baseball.
I'm sorry, you say you don't like baseball?
It's just there's too many games, too many people just stand around and do nothing almost every play, and that's kind of the big issue with it. I understand the appeal of it, but the appeal is so minimal that it doesn't go with, it's like when people say that they don't like soccer. The argument I always have is it's continuous action. Like everybody on the field is doing something.
And I'm pretty sure you think you're so original when you say that. Hockey players and soccer players just have this inner monologue that their sport is just so fucking superior to everybody else's.
I mean, it's not that. It's just if I wanted to watch somebody not really participate in something, I'd go watch like the very first level of like T-ball. I'd watch T-ball because the first baseman at T-ball moves as much as a professional first baseman.
First base is hard.
And now I'm playing first base. That's it. I understand it's hard. It is very hard. I'm not trying to discredit and everything. It is very difficult to do. It is just hard to connect with as a casual. Like I can during the Olympics, like summer games, winter games, I can casually get into any sport. But baseball, give me
All
the
right.
home run derby and you know what? The World Series, if it gets to game five, six, or seven, all right, I'm in. But outside of that, like cut off 100 games and I'm interested.
Well, I'm just gonna say that I still and always will love my New York sports, Yankees, Giants, Knicks, Islanders. But listen, man, y'all gotta stop embarrassing me out here. Like,
Yeah, didn't you
Jesus
guys? I think
Christ.
I think all on the same day. The Jets lost. Or sorry, no, the Giants. It was the Giants lost, the Yankees lost, the MLS New York team lost,
Red Bulls.
and yeah, the Red Bulls, and then somebody else lost. Like New
The
York had
WNBA
four.
won. The Liberty just won the WNBA
Oh,
title. So
but
look at the ladies holding New York down.
yeah, yeah.
Shout out to the ladies, always for the ladies. Anyway, moving on, we are on episode 11 of the challenge, season 40. I'm going to go ahead and kick this off. What's really good, pot stirrers? Welcome to another episode of Love, War, Challenges. I am.
So so angry, or you had a half cough coming up and you just battled through
A
it.
little bit of both. He is Tyler Louder. What's really good? Gang, 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 gang. Before I kick off this episode, I just want to say I've had a terrible experience with a Riverside FM. We was looking for a new platform where we could have more than 720p. Like, because I know you have a 1080 camera, I have a 4K camera.
Mhm.
I was like, there's no sense why we're still in 720. We might as well bring the quality up. And Riverside FM has just been really disappointing. In fact, on my other screen now, I'm on with their tech support because I want all my money back. Like,
Yeah.
because we just have a green screen. Like, I like a green screen. I like having the green screen from the challenge or from the one where they actually do interviews. Or here, you can still see the smoke in the corner because Jordan was doing something. It said poof, and it made the smoke, and I just pulled the screen grab. Like,
Yeah.
nobody wants to see my unmade bed in the back or my RGB lights that I didn't have the energy to put up. Anyway, moving on. Last episode, like I said, the drama was drama in, and Johnny Bananas must have heard us because he definitely liked the post, and he is keeping that shit going, keeping it going. What did you think of just the A block drama just going in?
I mean, it was what we want it to be. I think that's the best part about this show is that people don't realize this is that it is a show to entertain, and when there is drama revolving the game, that is the best type of drama. Now, I know people will be like, "Oh man, I miss back in the day when they would." No, we don't need the back in the day stuff. And when people complain about back in the day of like where they get drunk all the time and then actually take personal digs or actually physically fight. But when they bananas exposes somebody's game or talks about somebody's game or something in that manner and it affects other people, that's where I think this drama can be healthy and it's fine because all's fair in love, war, and challenges.
Mm, well said. And I really think you really hit it on the head. Game-based drama, not drama because you said some slick shit on Twitter, or personal digs because you guys used to date or whatever. Game-based drama is the best, and it's the thing that keeps us coming. So, Johnny can't take the shot at Tori. Naya, Olivia, and Michelle are the targets. Now, Tori said something interesting, and I wasn't quite sure how to take it. I wanted to get your take on it. She said, Johnny Bananas did nothing but make three more enemies. I know with Michelle, there was some personal stuff because they were cool outside of the house. Olivia and Naya, not so much, even though he's worked with Naya on several seasons, or he's there with Naya on several seasons.
Mm.
The thing about it is, I don't think she's wrong. Three more enemies made, probably we see that he's able to kind of work, conversate with Naya a little bit later on. But even though he may have made three more enemies, I was thinking, I was just like, well, who gives a shit? What are they going to do about it?
Yeah, but here's the thing though. There's always two sides of the coin, right? Like sometimes when you're attacking people and you're just trying to create drama or whatever, you don't like them, you will focus on a side that makes you look better. That's simple as that. Nobody's going to argue with somebody to make the person arguing with look better. He also created a solid line of his alliance, his people. And
I hate the whole bananas angels things. I
it's
hate the name. The name is dumb.
Here's the thing though. If I was one of those females, I love it because you know who's getting all the attention? Bananas. It's bananas. And you know what's great right now? Also, too, he didn't put in Kara. So by not putting in Kara, he didn't build an alliance with her because Bananas can't. He knows that if he tries working with Kara, she's going to be number 5 on his list. She's going to figure that out. She's not going to be happy. So, but just by not saying her name, it's like a respect thing. It's like, I see you above these 3 women. I'm going to put them in. And I would have put Tori in as well. So, I mean, actually, as much as Tori's like freaking out about this, I think Bananas played this really well.
I think he did too. One, normally you don't want to draw a whole lot of attention to yourself, but Bananas is a different animal. He is definitely able to weather this kind of storm. He's definitely able to handle it. He spent most of his challenge career in this place of having a lot of people coming from a lot of different angles. So surprisingly, I think he's pretty comfortable where he's at and doing this. Even though it may strike people as being uncomfortable, this is where he's best at, and you can see it in his interviews. And Kara called it out, like, oh, Bananas is loving every second of this because he's also getting the attention. So I don't think you're wrong there. Also, we hear Colin kind of say the same thing, like, how come he didn't take a shot at Kara? And I pointed this out on Twitter. I was just like, Colin has taken several shots at Kara in the interviews and perspective wise, and it's really starting to piss me off because it's not the first time he mentioned it. Would it make sense? Yes, but I also think it makes sense that we're seeing Johnny kind of lay off of Kara a little bit. They went out at her in the beginning, caused a big stir up. As long as she's not actively trying to peel your fucking skin off, leaving Kara alone might be a good play here.
And that's kind of what I was talking about. It's just like, just leave her in the middle. You don't have to work with her. You don't have to put her in. Yeah, and I just think also when we look at this, as much as like these guys want to all freak out, the odds of one of these 3 winning it daily is very low. I mean, Michelle is higher than the rest, but as much people,
which is a shame because Olivia, why are you not there? Naya, why are you not there?
I'm not gonna lie. Olivia is a side character in an alliance. She's carried through the actions of others. Now, I'm not saying that she can't hold her own weight at times, but she really got overhyped mainly because Horacio was her partner, and I think that he got so much shine that it was like, oh, they're a good group. And then she goes in the next season and does pretty well. She's never, I don't know if Olivia could ever play like a solo game. And Naya blindly just assumes everything this is how it is without actually putting in the work for some things. Where Michelle, as much as some people just don't like Michelle, which is what I gather from the community, she's a gamer. She is constantly working. That's the reason why she's played Survivor twice and never been eliminated, never been voted off, because her social game is impeccable. And that's the reason why she's made it to very far in every season she's been on. and really just gets sent home because of purges, or she goes against, a female that's twice her size in elimination.
I don't get the Michelle hate. I actually really, really like her. It boggles my mind season after season how she has so much more power than seemingly deserves. She plays a great social game. Even this little partnership with Devin is not a bad thing. Devin is able to get people on his side. He can sometimes be a leader or somebody, a person that other people look to make decisions, and not a bad choice. And in reality, people say this, that, and the other about Devin. Like realistically, I think Devin is one of the more normal people on the challenge. It's probably just a nice guy. I mean, the challenge is full of a bunch of freaks, and yeah, he has a big head or whatever. But I think objectively looking, he's one of the more normal people. He's more closer to a Leroy than a one of these eccentric people like Jordan or whatever.
Yeah, so
So
here's the big thing about it, and we have to just call it out, call it for what it is. The reason why Michelle gets hate and everything is because she's a woman. It's simple as that. And I know people are probably gonna say like, well, no, 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 because let's look at Michelle's track record and stay with me a little bit.
all right,
Normally centered around some type of romance. There's drama with a friendship and everything, and she's always in a big alliance and everything. And we're constantly dogging on it. People are, but we see things happen with men. Corey, every season for the first like 6 seasons, different romance. He's got his brotherly group and everything. He's working and weaving in drama with his friends. Nobody hates on Corey. And it's the exact, we've actually seen I mean, this season we've only seen about the friendship thing. Nobody's dogging on it. People make fun of Tori, same thing. But we see Bananas do the same thing, and people don't dog on Bananas as much. We see. I'm just saying it. I'm not saying it's 100%, but that is a contributing factor because when we see a male have this love interest and then creates drama and then also hides in an alliance, most people don't say anything. But when a female does it, it gets construed in a wrong way of a weak player versus when we see like Bananas or Wes or Jordan do it, they're strong, smart gamers. But when somebody like Michelle does it, she's a coward, she's weak, she's oh man, she's over dramatized, she's just overly emotional. It's not real. No, it's the same game. That's the thing. It's just people can see things from a guy's view better than they can't see a woman's. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
that's a shame if that's the majority because I look at Michelle as kind of being masterful at gaming. Like she's lasting a lot longer than she should have, and it's because she's playing a good game. Might not be the game you agree with, and it might not be a Jordan free agents kind of game playing, but it keeps her in the game. And guess what? They get paid weekly, so
That's
the
the
longer
big
they're
thing.
there, they're getting the bread. So
And
you
she
can't knock
knows
it.
this. She knows this. There's a reason why, like, I mean, think about it. I mean, she probably could never really win a true final, if I'm being honest. Like a real final, not an All-Stars 4 final, let's help blah 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 win. Let's get all these strong people out because of Carney games or All-Stars, 2, where it's weird, it's it's a true final and battle, battle of the eras, season 40. And I just don't think she ever could pull it through, in my opinion. But every time Michelle's on a season, regardless of how everything's set up, we should always expect her to make it to the halfway point or more.
I would agree. In all reality, I think man, if she catches the right pairs, she could waltz a pretty ass right into a final. I wouldn't knock it. I do think Michelle has it in her to end up being a champ one of these days.
If she was paired up with somebody, let's say like somebody like her and Leroy were partners on the season for some, that's an example, who's not really strong at puzzles, but Michelle is. I think that's like the factor. He's a good partner. He won't yell at her. She's a good partner, won't yell at him. She's good at his weaknesses. He's good at her weaknesses. Something like that. Yeah, could see a propel of a win, but I just don't in an individual aspect, like
Yeah,
I hear
probably
that
not.
I hear there's like a purge coming next episode. Well, what happened season 39? She got purged out. Simple as that. So,
Facts. But you know what? If I see her in the final and she's paired with men and she's paired with a CT, a Jordan, a Bananas, and a Leroy, like she can get carried. She because she can hold her own enough where
yeah.
she won't fuck them up. So very excited to see what she could do in the future. And guys, take it easy on Michelle. Like take it easy. She's all right. Let's go ahead and move on to the daily. Today's daily is called building bridges. And let me tell you something. I love this daily.
The
I
great
love this
daily.
daily. It was a great day. It was Donkey Kong. My only thing is, sometimes when they do the dailies, I get it. We still have a whole lot of challengers. Man, present it like the Olympics. Show everybody's full thing in full with the time. It would benefit so much. I don't think they did a bad job dramatizing it, but yeah, sometimes you gotta let this shit play out and let us get a sense for how long these things are. Also, I think in order to do that, they would have to make some of these things shorter. So, I think that's fine because as we see later on today with the I'm not sure if it was this elimination. It could have been the last elimination. It lasted forever. It was this
Mhm.
one.
It was this one, yeah. Well, here's the thing with the daily. I mean, you easily could have they already kind of did it where they showed like two people kind of going at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and what they could have done is just cut to four cameras, put four cameras of four people going at the same time. They don't have to actually go at the same, they're not going at the same time. We know they're not, but it just show four people that kind of finish at the same pace. Like you can do that in post editing. These guys
Right.
are all pretty close, and you kind of see the problem is that they don't want us to see like, which is weird because in last episode in Fire Away, they showed us exactly who got first, second, third, fourth, all the way to ninth. But this one, they didn't want us to see who got. I understand if like the women that fell off, you don't want them because now we can visually see like, oh, she was ahead of her. We already know who's last.
Right.
But I don't think like if you're watching the Olympics and you're watching the 100-meter dash and you see a person in last at the 50-meter, it doesn't take away from the event. Like,
It doesn't. It doesn't. And like I said before, we know what we want. We know what we're watching. We don't need to be babied or handled with care. But I thought it's pretty much Donkey Kong. I thought
mhm.
it was great. Couple of things I loved. I did love I loved the daily overall. I thought it was a great, just great daily. I don't think there was a lot of stuff that could have been added to make it better, maybe presented a little bit better. Was super disappointed in seeing Cara get DQ'd. Same thing with Naya and Olivia Michelle. Like all of the ladies of leisure and Queen Cara all got disqualified, and I really thought that was disappointing,
Yeah,
especially so early.
especially after it happens, and then Banana's just sitting there going, "Aviv is 3 feet tall, and she was able to do it. So what's everybody else complaining about?"
Exactly.
Um, and then she actually gets injured in this as well. On the jump, really hurts her. I don't think it was the fall down to the rope. I think when she jumped onto the crate, that's when she hurt herself and hurt her foot. Man, they really know how to like hype things up. Like the editing for the next season, next week is looking really good. But yeah, I mean, overall, daily wise, this is a great daily for people that are sitting here. And I know last week I probably shouldn't have said like, shut up, everybody, about complaining about eliminations. I probably shouldn't have said that, but directly. But here's my thing: is that we're getting this cool physical endurance, strength, speed, agility, like daily. So the final the final so the elimination should be janky. They really should be. You're not prepared for this. How are you going to do it on the fly when somebody else is against you? Like those are the best type of eliminations in my opinion. When we see a hall brawl, they are great theatrical performances of heavy hitter and it's over. However, to be honest, hall brawl's only great when one person looks like a fool. Like we've never watched a hall brawl where two people are just like this for 30 minutes. No, it's Zach goes low and CJ jumps over him, or Big Easy pushes Wes all the way through, or Tori smashes Jenny. That's it. Hall brawl is not entertaining
You know
overall.
what? I'm going to say that there was one. I think it was Rivals. It was Leroy versus Jordan. It was a two and Ty. It was Leroy and Ty
Rivals too,
versus
yes.
Jordan and Marlon.
Marlon.
That was a great hall brawl, and I think they need to bring that dual hall brawl back because you kind of got a blocker. I
It
thought
was
it added a really
2v2.
yeah. I
Yeah.
thought it was a great element, and it was a battle. And man, the way that Jordan and Marlon really pulled that one out, fantastic, fantastic. Oh man,
But
would
that,
love
but
to see that again.
but really though, those are my points though. Those I mean, you just named one. We've had like 50 hall brawls. There's
Oh,
really hall brawls are not entertaining as much people think. Like people love watching people get hit. Like I get the appeal behind it, but they are not like drama infused. It is that person's gonna win. Like
sir,
duh.
sir, we want to see two people smash into each
I know I get it. I get it. I get it. But I think I think balls in is more entertaining. I think pole wrestle's more entertaining because it's more 50-50. Hall brawl, if you see Fessy or Zach go down to a hall brawl, they're gonna win. How's that entertaining? Like Theo goes into hall brawl, he's knocked out. Like Theo's won like 2 or 3 hall brawls. It's not that
Oh,
entertaining.
speaking of which, Fessy called out Theo a little bit. What do you? So I forget
Tell me
exactly
what
what he
is.
said.
What was the context ish about
Uh,
him being
nothing.
gassed out or
No, I think he was just kind of talking shit about Theo. Like, hey, does this guy win any dailies or something like that? Um, and yeah, I mean, in the daily, he was looking really, really sluggish. That was another one, but also I think it's because it was a guy day. He wasn't in any real trouble, so he was just like, why actually try? Oh,
I
oh, actually, this got interesting. Somebody hit, oh, hold up. Let's go for a little live read. Somebody said to Fessel, can you name 10 eliminations you would beat Theo in? He goes, number one, hall brawl, pole
no.
wrestle, balls in, anything with climbing, anything with swimming, anything with math, anything cardio based. The second one, I beat Nelly in with chains. The elimination, Chris beat Tyler in on USA 2, and 10, anything with balance. And then he goes, I could have kept going, but I ran out of words. Um,
I don't think Fessy beats Theo in a hall brawl. I don't think people
anything
understand.
cardio based.
Theo doesn't have cardio. Theo is gassed almost every long distance or anything they do. Theo's a short
Oh,
distance runner.
and that's what he said. He said, is Theo any good at these dailies or what? I can't tell because he seemed to get last place a lot.
Here's the big thing. We've seen Theo on this is his 4th season, right? So we saw him go home a little past midway on World of Worlds 2 because he went into an elimination against Jordan. But we saw him take out a couple people, like 2 or 3 people in elimination. World of Worlds 1, he got 2nd place. World Championships, he got 4th, and if he didn't injure his ankle, who knows what happens. So it's like, okay, hold on a second, Fessy. Like you are the perennial I get last place in every final I'm in competitor. So I think it's a very bold claim considering Theo was minutes away from winning World of Worlds 1. And if that happens, we talk about him and Theo or him and Turbo way differently.
Oh, big facts. And for the record, Fessy has 12 daily wins while Theo has 10.
And we have to remember, Fessy's on like 4 seasons. This is Theo's 4th season. And does World Championship even count on that?
It should.
But it's a spinoff technically. It's not a part of the main series.
Technically.
I'm saying technically, if because people always like to use these like, oh, West doesn't have blah 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 elimination wins because those were spinoff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm just saying, like if you think about it, Theo has this is his 3rd season that he has to add those in.
And Theo has some good wins. In fact, his only loss comes against Jordan. He's 5-1. Let's see, he has Kyle, Bananas, Idris under his belt. 2 seasons so far without even seeing elimination. Oh,
Paulie.
and Paulie.
Yep.
Damn, Paulie. Saw that one
But
coming.
I mean, here's the thing. If we're gonna we'll talk about this for a little bit longer and everything. I don't think Fessy would beat. I don't think he beat Theo in a hall brawl. Here's the thing people don't realize is that hall brawl has nothing to do with like your upper body or anything like that. I know some people might think it does, but like your lower body strength is what propels you into those hits and pushes you forward and can when you're in a struggle. And Theo's like lower body strength, I think, is almost unmatched as an Olympic athlete, as a sprinter, like realistically.
But also, Fessy hasn't really went against any beast, even in his
Kyle,
physical eliminations.
Nelly,
Jordan, and I think that's really it.
Jay. Didn't he go against? No, that was Rogan. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, no real beast. I mean, Jordan was his, and Josh. Jordan was his biggest, op when it comes to that, and
but that was pole wrestle.
and he was injured, and
It was
one hand.
it was a one-handed guy that was injured. Like that was no, that's not that. To be honest, that elimination win shouldn't even go to Fessy. It should go to West for throwing in Jordan against Fessy. Like that's an automatic ticket home. I remember we talked about that.
Yeah.
and I'm not discrediting Fessy. I think Fessy is one of the best physical like competitors we've had in the past like 10 seasons, if we're being honest. Like he's not like the other guys that show up like this, he's not popcorn muscles. Fessy isn't. He's a legit strength guy. I think he overhypes his abilities a little bit too much
You know
though.
what? I disagree. It's a shame he's not on this season, and
He was an alternate, I think.
I think he really has I think his potential to be a challenge great is really, really high. He just gotta get his shit together.
Yeah, he
But
just has to find a personality somewhere and be entertaining on a TV show, and then he can. Let's look at. Seriously. He lost out to Josh, way more
he got the
entertaining.
hookups going
He
on.
lost out to Kyle. Kyle. That's it though. But he's not
But
doing that for the camera. He's doing
but
that
he
because he just wants to hook up with people.
but he can also pull the trigger. I mean, him going down the hall, bro. He's like, throw me in against my friend. I mean, he provides some drama there, and
Let me go
he
into
performs pretty well.
elimination. Let me go into elimination that I clearly am physically dominant in, and then let me throw sand in Nelly's face when I'm doing it and be dirty about it. Come on.
Hey, this kind of stuff is good for the challenge. This is what I say. When people go and talk about challenging, canceling challengers, like, shut up. Do you
Oh
really want these people
yeah.
to be
No.
good people? No.
No, I think if Fessy wants to get more calls back, he has to start understanding that he's on a show to entertain people. And I think that the people that
Gotta put that
cast they,
producer hat on a little bit.
just even a little bit, you have
A
to
little bit.
create something that is a legit drama. And it's like Josh even saw like, oh man, I can create drama with my own friend, and that'll get me going. That's why Josh keeps coming back. Josh
Yeah,
understands how
he
this
gets
whole
it.
thing works.
And you know, a lot of people don't remember. I mean, people remember this, but people look at it differently. Wes digging into Josh ass, talk about this would never be
I
a thing. That would, don't get me wrong, it was iconic in so many ways, but it was 100% him saying, "I'm going to say something that's going to get replayed forever."
We don't got to be disrespectful here. We can come for each other. No, listen,
No, no,
I have no reason to take out the worst player in the game.
oh,
I
ate him up and left no crumbs. Love it. But
I just
moving
saw
on.
that on I just saw that on TikTok like 2 days ago.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's great. It's iconic. Moving on, we get to club night, and let me tell you something. This is how I know Bananas loves this shit.
Oh,
Bananas crashes out.
you didn't even say who won. We didn't
Oh
even
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about that.
Sorry, we got so distracted. It came down to Tori and Jenny, but Jenny goes ahead and gets the win. And for the men,
It's
oh,
Kylan.
Colin, yeah, Colin
And
gets the win.
I'm sorry, when I was watching this and I saw Kylan going, I was like, if I was Kylan, I would know to go fast, but I would try my best to not win.
Why do you think you should have won?
Let's just say Naya doesn't get last, and all three of his top three alliance members are up to get voted into elimination. You have to sever ties in some way or another.
Yeah,
And
but the great thing is
it's a
Jenny's in
dumb
there,
it's a dumb, it
and
doesn't matter though. It's Kylan's choice. Kylan gets to make the choice. He's the guy. I think it's
oh
dumb
yeah, that's right.
because here's the thing. He would legitimately be choosing between a love interest in Naya or his number one and number two. What if he protects Naya and sends in Olivia or Michelle? They're gonna go, wait a second.
Mm,
And I just think it was just a
the
bad move
upside
for
was
him.
low.
There was no upside to it because there was no upside. Either way, you were gonna hurt somebody in your top three. There's no and I get you don't want to get last, but after you see how Bananas goes, you can just be like, all right, I'm gonna go close to that. I just that's just me.
Yes, and that's also makes for another good case that sometimes watching people go first is going first can be a real disadvantage. And even though it is a disadvantage, I don't think they should take it away. I think it's one of the things. I think it's like one of the things that makes the challenge.
As long as it's random. I don't like when like the winners of the last daily or elimination get to pick who goes where. Actually, I don't like when the winners of the last daily get to pick the order. I do think the randomness makes it better. Like if you're the best team and you have to go first for something, maybe that should send you an elimination. Like that's the randomness of the challenge.
Yeah,
Like,
you kind of have to have it a little bit.
yeah.
Moving on to club night. Not much goes on, but two things I wanted to point out. One, God, man, Bananas crashing out is just the fucking best.
It's
Man.
so great. It's so
It is
great.
so even better. He's being pressed by Olivia and Colin. All these people's coming up to him. Bananas doesn't bend at all. He stands 10 toes down. He stands on business. And granted, his back against the wall. He's feeling pressure from all the other sides, and he doesn't even sweat. And he's messing up people's games. He's calling people out. Olivia's mad that she was called a snake, but just like, we all saw it last season. So it's not really wrong. There was some snake shit. Even though we can all forgive and move on. But come on, like you can't be mad. But it was just great, and him sowing the chaos. The attention is on him, but he's putting attention in a lot of other places that people. It was just great. It was just great, and it's masterful. It shows why he is still King Potster. And don't get me wrong, is it immature? Yes. Is it childish? Of course. Can it be sometimes mean? Yeah, and chaotic? Absolutely. But these are all of the things that make bananas bananas. And it is, and like I said, it's great to see him so freaking fired up. I mean, some seasons he is just coasting, he is just chilling, and he's kind of just dealing with whatever comes to him. And it's nice to see him fired up and driven. And hey, let me tell you something, I could deal with this bananas all day.
Yeah, and here's the big thing is that this is a survivor tactic actually.
Yeah,
It happens on Survivor a lot where people go, "Where do you sit?" Like they have a final four and you're in their group. There's five of you, so that means you're gonna get fifth place, right? You're cool with that. Okay, well, there's four of us, and we don't have an order. You can join us, and you could be number one. You could be number two. Like it's a great thing where people can like jump the order. I've even seen this on seasons when it's like 4v3 and there's two people on the bottom and they're like, just jump over with us and everything. Like it's a pretty cool dynamic to see people like switch over and everything and really control. And that's what it was. It was, hey, you're not even in Jordan's top four. And Jordan, oh man, confessionals are great, man. Jordan
amazing.
understands this is a TV show as well. Like,
Yeah,
bananas,
he gets it.
stop. Like,
Exactly. He doesn't get pissy about it, but I thought he did a great job.
his not reacting right there was actually the worst thing Jordan could do because it probably made Nia go, why isn't he defending it? Why isn't he
That's
arguing against it?
exactly it.
And
It
then
was
he
it was the
says
freaking
Tori,
truth.
and we see Tori does the opposite. Tori goes and Tori starts freaking out. It's like, why are you bringing my name into everything? And that was her mistake where she should have just been quiet and was like, all right, Banana's going to say me. But as soon as she stepped up and started arguing, he goes,
Yeah.
you have every guy's back except for mine. How's that working out? Like,
It was great.
you can't
It
bring
was,
seven guys to the final.
but
Like,
also it points to how well of a game player he is. The other thing I want to talk about is how Rachel is quietly playing one of the best lone wolf
I was
games
going to
I
say
have
this as well.
ever seen. Freaking masterful. It's not making too much noise, not making too much promises, but making the right promises to the right people at the right time. I mean, and she's doing this all without raising a huge stink, and everybody's just letting her just, I mean,
You know why?
CT
Because
has done very well, with his whole rebrand as the Elder
right.
Statesman thing. He's done that great, and I gotta say, this is one of the most masterful lone wolf. I mean, CT has been doing the lone wolf thing for a long time. Jordan has been doing the lone wolf thing for a long time. Even Cora to some degree, even though some of her best game players come from some of the great alliances she has made. But just lone wolfing it, oh my God. And when she was down to one person, I really just hope she is getting the credit for, all reality, she's going to sneak and win this whole freaking thing if nobody is paying attention.
Well, really the reason why is because, I mean, if you think about it, she's doing the same thing Tori's doing, but just not
But
drawing
better.
attention to herself. Way better. She's showing Tori how to do it. Here, so let's point out a couple things. So it is crazy the difference of Rachel's game when she doesn't have Tina and Veronica around, how much her game elevates. Because
And
they're
I know
very,
it sucks to say that because I know she loves them. I know
she
they
does.
love her and she would do anything for them.
Yes.
But
But they're
th-
very loud and they create drama and they
their
create
anchor.
chaos. It just um uh verbally they create chaos that Rachel has to fix and everything, or she has to go in the sand and make sure that they don't, or go get a star for them so they don't have to and everything, or she has to worry about them going in. And so her not having to worry about anybody, this is a duel to Rachel that we're
Yeah.
seeing. And it is crazy the difference of um if Rachel was on as many seasons as like Laurel and Cara or Tori, I think Rachel's like a five-time champ.
Yeah.
Like,
And
like
I
she
think
just she
Rachel
just
is
yeah.
quietly proven she may be the number one female player of all time.
I mean, it's definitely there. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
overall, I think she's a great teammate. I think she's a great individual player. I think she works well in groups as well. But yeah, her movement here is like, we know she's with Bananas, right? That's
Right.
great. She doesn't have an alliance with Theo, but they had this previous let's work together through Derek thing. And so Theo's not a person that like is like just gonna like go back on that really. Like Theo's like, okay, I give me word, like I won't go after you. Like, I think that's still valid. And then on top of that, she has this relationship with Jordan that she's trying to work, and it's just really a conversation. But I think Jordan sees it as like, well, you could help me win the final. Yeah. And now she's like, hey Corey, like you know what? I think we should, I'd like to work with you and everything, but I also really want to work with Nehemiah because I know you're working with him and I want to work with both of you, which is genius.
Fucking genius.
Instead of saying I want to work with one person, it's like, hey, I want to work with the people that you're working with because it's pretty much making Corey look like a ringleader and saying
Right.
I just want to follow you, and that's
And
gonna hype up
it feeds
Corey
his
and make him
ego.
yes.
And also it says, hey, I'll look out for you and I'll look out for your homie.
And she still has Josh as one of her good friends. She still has Derek as one of her buddies as well. The only person she doesn't have right now is Kyland. That's it. And so she's in such a good place without making noise.
And even though she doesn't have Colin, Colin isn't exactly motivated to go after her.
No, there are other targets for him to go after first. Yeah.
Exactly.
Which is
So she's not
everybody
even on the
associated with,
radar.
yeah.
Why
Yeah.
put and so why put yourself on the radar? You don't have to go and make friends right now. Maybe later on in the game, depending on how it progresses. But come on, chances are Colin. Well, I don't know. Colin might make a final, but who knows how much power he might have later on. He does have a good alliance, but there's no reason to draw a line in the sand between them. She, I mean, really just a testament to being, her observational prowess and just playing a masterful game. It is so great to see. And she's doing it quietly when everything on the
Mhm.
channel is so loud. Let's go ahead and get to deliberations. I love this deliberation because Jenny has a chip on her shoulder and, Michelle gets a little pissy at her and Jenny has every right to bomb this deliberation as she sees fit. She was thrown
Yeah.
in multiple times and she was right. None of y'all gave a shit about my game. Why should I give a shit about y'all's? She's like, Naya is the only one I'm really rocking with. And so I only want to hear what Naya wants to go to. Naya keeps it classy. She don't want to dime anybody out. And she's very graceful. I give Naya this, one of the biggest, from how she was when, from when she first was on the show. She has
Hurricane
become
Naya.
very, very graceful, with a lot of like empathy and compassion. And historically, I've been very hard on Naya because I've been disappointed in her by a lot. And one of the things that Naya has said during the whole her and Jordan, promo tour or whatever, which I didn't like, but something she said stuck with me, and is more than just stuck with me in the game. It actually kind of stuck with me, like in my life. And she was like, "You got to allow people grace. You got to give people grace to recover from their mistakes." And that's something that I've actually like really taken to heart, and it's actually changed some things in my own like personal life. It's made me a much more forgiving. Listen, I still don't forgive Jordan 100%. And like I said, hating him nowadays is more just fun than anything else. He's kind of like my MacGuffin for having a hate. But this is somebody who has changed, and we're seeing that change. And
Maturity.
it's
We're
actually
seeing
nice to see.
growth. It's very nice to see.
It's nice to see, man. So, big shout out Naya, man. It's like, look how you've grown, and we're recognizing it. And you're grown for the better, because people can grow to be assholes too, and they can grow to be bitter, and they can grow to be angry. It's really nice to see. Michelle's lashing out at Jenny. Come on, y'all threw her in how many times? She can be pissed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you put yourself in this position, you drew a line, you went after somebody that you knew was going to come back and get you and everything, and that's it's simple as that. Uh yeah, I mean, the deliberation, I'll be honest, I was kind of like one of those like we can fast forward through this.
Yeah,
There's
we
really no
know where this
need.
is going.
Yeah, it wasn't as well, it's not what you wanted it to be. Um yeah, but let's just go ahead and let's just go ahead and get into 40 fiction, the elimination.
40, was it 40 fiction or 40 fixation?
40 fixation.
40 fixation. Another stupid name.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what?
somebody's trying to be clever. Just call it math box game.
You know what though? I do think somebody's doing this on purpose though. They're just like,
This is somebody's job. This is somebody's job to do this. But it's weird because like so let's go through some of these names. So once we get into these one-time games, we have one step at a time. Okay,
okay,
cool. Pick it up. Not
all right.
lame, but getting hammered. Okay, we're appealing to a certain demographic. We get it. To the point. To the point. Great name. Boxster phobia. Okay, you lost us
Okay.
now. Fate of the Gladiators. Fantastic. Fantastic. Cable Connection Showdown. Interesting. Okay. What else are you gonna call it?
You know what though?
Um,
I was so out of ideas with the name because I never put any real thought into naming our episodes.
mhm.
And normally I'll just pick something that was said during the episode or something like that. But I was so out of ideas, I just named the last episode Cable Connection.
That's yeah. And then we got Killer Quads and then yeah, 40 Fixation. Yeah. No.
If you had to grade the names of these eliminations, what grade would you
C.
give it?
It's a C
C.
because they're
Okay.
putting in effort, but they're just not like it's just like the when we think about Hall Brawl is Hall Brawl. Like we're never gonna get 40 Fixation come back again called that. No.
God, I hope not, because let me tell you something. I don't know who's coming up with these eliminations. It has to be Albert fucking Einstein. Why are we getting more math?
I don't mind it. I didn't mind this one because it was an element. We talked about this. We can't complain about this because we talked about last week
I
where it's
can't
an
complain.
element. You can do math, but then give us something else. Like
Yeah,
that has to be a
uh,
part.
they did have an element, but the element has to be entertaining. Move these boxes from here to there.
But I mean, I think it was cool
It's
that they
better
did
than a
that.
puzzle,
I thought it was
but
cool that the math led to a chain, but the chain didn't unlock everything. So you had to, and but what's cool about it too is that we saw the same elimination have two different um methods of fixing everything. Pardon. We saw Naya going, I'm going to solve everything. We saw Michelle going, I'm going to do it one at a time. And because of that, we got to see one strategy work and one fail. And I think that's cool
mhm.
because a lot of times it's just point A to point B, and there's really no figuring it out in the middle. So
Yes, I didn't hate this elimination. I did hate the math. I did love the fact that that we got to see two different strategies, and Naya ended up giving up on her strategy partway through because she realized it wasn't working. By the time she realized it, it was too late. Big shout out to Michelle. She got very lucky with this elimination because a lot of eliminations Naya would have whooped her ass. And I was thinking too because somebody mentioned something. I was just like, Naya had a great elimination with Carver with with the thing with the strap to the back. And that would have been absolutely great. I thought she would have killed it there. And I would love to see that elimination come back. But this was just a complete battle of the strategies, and one strategy worked and one strategy different. And, there's a multitude of strategies you could have taken when it came to this elimination. But I love the fact that Naya recognized it wasn't working and it shifted. But by then, it was too late.
here's the thing, they are sweating, they are exhausted, they're breathing heavy, which means this elimination probably took 30 minutes to do 20 30 minutes. Like this is not a short elimination, and those type of eliminations I think are valuable. It's when your back is against the wall, can you push forward? When everything is weighing down on you, can you lift it off you and overcome? Like when you're feeling down and tired, can you still move through the sand? Those are eliminations that I think are the best.
I'm glad you said that because a lot of times I would think, how would I approach an elimination? And the funny thing is, I would have did the same thing Naya did. I'm thinking Naya says, let me do all the math now because once I get tired and sweaty, this math is going to become harder. And that's exactly what I would have done. I would have been like, man, let me bang out this math now before I start moving around. Because if I try to come back after running a half mile trying to do an equation, it's not going to work. So I didn't think it was a bad strategy. I just think with how Michelle was progressing with hers, it ended up not working. So I don't really fault her strategy too much. But Michelle gets the surprising win. She is resistant, if not anything. And her targets are Bananas, which makes sense, Jordan and Nehemiah. Does Jordan and Nehemiah make sense for her targets to you?
Jordan makes sense because, like Banana said, Michelle must have heard what I had for Naya because she did say, if I'm not on your top of your list, then I guess I'm not working with you. And there you go. Now she's in. And so that's it's just interesting because like Michelle and Tori should be working together, but
Right?
Tori's like, I'm gonna put in somebody that's gonna come after you. And then in return, you're gonna put in somebody that's protecting me. It's like they're not on the same path, even though they're an
Yeah.
alliance. But she's not gonna say Josh's name. She's not gonna say Theo's name. She can't say Kylan's name, and that leaves Derek, you know? So I get not wanting to say Derek's or Corey too.
Hmm,
It's
yeah,
interesting, but I think it is weird because I don't know. I don't
right.
know.
There's still at this point of the game, even with a house divided, there is still a significant amount of floaters, and Rachel's
Uh,
grabbing them all up.
what's crazy though is that like I understand this whole concept like of wanting to like get out these big names because you know whatever the threat, but also these are people that could help you in a final too. It's going to be interesting to see because like we're down to 8 and there's really no like Derek is the weakest competitor here. Not physically strong, I'm saying like he's not as strong as them, but he doesn't have the resume that everybody else kind of does.
Right.
Even compared to Kylan. So or Josh. I mean, because Josh just wins a lot of dailies. So with his groups and his teams and his lines. I mean, it's gonna be interesting because right now this doesn't mean anything. Bananas or Jordan or Nehemiah being in elimination, they could be going up against Derek in something that's favorable to them. They could be going up
Oh yeah.
against, Theo and it could be Jordan versus Theo in a cardio thing. And I think Jordan would wash him. Um, so who knows? I mean, it's interesting the dynamic. She really drew a line in the sand. I don't know who Michelle's top 3 guys are. It must just be Kylan, Josh, and
Con Josh
that.
and I think Thea.
Oh, Kylan, Josh, and Theo. That's right. Okay, but there's got to be a 4 in there. So I mean, at that point, why not just like make it Jordan? Why not make it Jordan?
Why
And
not?
just say Derek's name. Like if he's not, unless she's working with Derek.
Or make nice bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah, either one of those would work. Who do you have before we get out of here? Where do you got the power rankings at?
Not a lot of movement. We only have one new member in the power rankings. To be honest. Uh, but we do have some movements and everything. So Tori fell out of the rankings. She fell 2 spots and fell out. Um, so let's go to start at
Really?
fives.
Because
Yeah,
she came close to winning against
she
Jenny.
she came close to winning, but here's the thing: Naya was somebody she was working with, is
Mm,
gone. Michelle, who she is working with, put in her number 1 in Jordan. And also Bananas is exposing her game and really hurting her. And I think it
uh,
will affect her more than like Jordan. I don't think really got hurt by it because the only person that hurt was Naya. Naya's gone, so Jordan's game didn't get affected at all. Um,
not at all. I mean, Naya would have protected him, but Naya doesn't win enough to actually make that effective.
Exactly. So Bananas actually stayed at number 5 for us. I think he had a good performance in the daily considering he went first. And that normally can be a death sentence. But he was all good to go. And then we have Jenny popping up at number 4. She moves up 2 spots into the top 5, where she finishes at 4. I mean, I think her daily win. I think the fact that somebody she's not. I mean, Naya went home. That does kind of hurt her. But here's the thing: somebody that physically can match up with her size wise went home. I think that's a positive thing because when it's somebody that can match up with you physically in like an elimination 50-50, you don't like that. But in a physical
Exactly.
elimination against Michelle, she's still good. So I think that's fine. And we've seen several puzzles that I don't think another puzzle will be in the works for the next female elimination, in my
You
opinion.
know, just jumping in real quick, I really like the fact that the people making the choices to send people into elimination are the people who win. Sometimes it's not appropriate to have the whole house voting,
Right, right.
and I think this season is really benefiting from that.
Yeah. Jordan falls 2 spots to number 3. Not really a
Makes sense.
fault of his and everything, because if the 4 he's working with are the 4 he's working with, and he's got a strong 5th relationship with Kara, I don't like he's protected pretty well. Michelle's his only downfall, but I just don't see anybody here that's really I'm worried about an elimination against Jordan or final. Rachel stays at 2 because of her strong gameplay that we're seeing. I mean, it's just a silent killer out there. And then Kylan moves up 3 spots because Kylan was able to win a daily over everybody. Didn't have anything go wrong in his alliance, really. I mean, he doesn't have Naya here, but he still has his top 2. Um, and I think Kylan's here's the thing: if Bananas goes away, I think Kylan could easily take Banana's spot in working with people
Mm,
like Laurel or Aviv. I think that'll naturally kind of happen. So I think he's or Jenny is maybe Jenny as well. I think Kylan's in a fine spot, to be honest. I think he's doing really well in all these. I mean, he got second in the last daily that Jordan won, and then he wins this one. So
and also, there's not a lot of people out there looking to take his head off right now.
and he has 2 elimination wins. Like, he's feeling really good right now. Yeah, and his number 1 and number 2 females are still there.
Sounds good. One hell of an episode. We're getting a mini final next episode, and I fucking love mini finals. Mini
The
finals
Purge.
should be in the. I'm iffy on purges, but mini finals should be the definitive midpoint of every season. I love them, love them. I love mini finals, and I love exiles. Both of those are great.
I don't
So
hope this is the midpoint, because I don't want 22
no,
episodes in this season.
no. we understood that we have our own limits. We like anywhere between 16 to like 22 is about all we need.
I think 18 episodes
18
is
is perfect.
is the perfect for reunion and stuff you should have shown, and a preseason video of them in the house, and then 15 competitions is perfect. That's, so
Can't knock it. All right. Thank you guys all for watching. Thank you for listening. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at LWC Podcast. Follow us on Facebook and TikTok at Love War Challenges. I promise next week I'm going to get this changed. And listen to Love War Challenge Podcast on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app. Once again, I am MTV Malik. He is Tyler Louder. This is Love War Challenges. Good night.